Hello and welcome to Dear Love Talk, where we have decided in this show to help you with honest questions and giving you honest answers.
Yes, it was a great demand for answers, so here we are, Dear Love Talk, especially for you.
Now, the first question, we're going to get right to it, is from someone who says, "Hi James and Elena, how do I deal with changes that my partner points out to me that I need to address? I'm not great at accepting criticism, but do understand the need to evolve as a person and a husband." Well, first of all, I think there's something else we need to say before we even address how you deal with those suggestions of so-called criticism. You know, it's not easy to receive criticism, but it's also not easy for a person to speak freely about where they think you need to change. So it takes courage from your wife to say to you that you need to change in certain things, right? I don't think you should see that as a personal attack on you or your character. I think you should see it as someone who really cares about you. You know, think about it this way. A football team, when a football team doesn't play well, all the football fans become managers, right? They want to change players. They say, I think they should do this, they should do that. And even though it's hard to hear sometimes that sort of constructive, or not really constructive, criticism, but that's done out of love, passion for that team, a different kind of love than we're talking about here. So the first thing is, you know, understand that the person who is saying this to you, your wife, is not attacking you, but they are saying this because they love you and they want the relationship to get better.
Yes, they care for you. And marriage is about many things which we've spoken here about here before, like sacrificing. It's about sacrificing. It's a lot to do also with humbling. You need to be humble. I mean, aren't you in that relationship to please each other? So it's about one serving the other. I want to do my best to please my husband. I know I don't tick all the boxes. I know that, I'm very aware of that. So I try my very best, and I actually encourage him to point out a few things that I could perhaps change to please him a little better. And he does the same thing for me. So.
And just a correction there, you tick all the boxes.
Do I? Oh, good. But
of course, there are things that need to change in both of us. But going back to that question, so the first thing is understand that person is not attacking you.
Yes.
And how do you deal with it? Of course, if the person says, listen, I think you need to pay a little bit more attention to me, then do just that, right? If the person says, I think you need to be more considerate, or sometimes you're a little bit selfish, you need to think about me and my needs first, or a little bit more, then take that on board and try to change. Of course, you may not be able to change overnight because some things take time, but do try.
Some things are very painful for you to hear, like, you know, human beings, we are wonderful at thinking that we are really good. You know, there are exceptions, but we are so, like, you know, confident within ourselves, even though you are not the kind of person who goes and says it to everyone. We usually think we are quite all right. So when someone comes and tells you, oh, you know, you've got a problem with hygiene, or, you know, you've got a problem with this, please, let's change, or maybe you are a bit rude the way you speak, you are a bit loud. So it hurts because it's like, oh my God, you feel embarrassed, like, oh, I didn't know I was like this, I'm not like this. And then many things go on in your mind. And this is where you should actually thank your partner for being truthful with you and telling you things that no one else will.
Absolutely. So be receptive and try to change. Next question, Elena.
Well, right, it says, hi Helena, when you first saw James, did you know straight away that he was the one? I often think that you pretty much know if the person is right for you once you meet them. Well,
I'm interested in listening to the reply to this one.
People who know me, and I've shared my story with those who attend the seminars, I was so afraid to get it wrong that I waited until I was 19 to have my first boyfriend, actually 17, so which was my husband. So I did my homework. So for me to actually give him a chance is because I thought he was the one. That's me. But some people, they need more time. So I think that I'm good at observing people. And I saw very good qualities in him that led me to think,
yeah,
there might be something here.
And of course, you know, when you said that, I just want to clarify that when she saw me, she didn't know straight away I'm going to marry him, right? She, from the references she got, because even though we had just met for the first time, we were referred to each other by a mutual friend.
Indeed.
So the references she got were good. That's a plus, right? But I don't think you can really, you cannot know that a person is for you as soon as you meet them, right? You can't. It's impossible. And whoever says, you know, I found love at first sight, saw this person, and I knew I was going to marry them, perhaps the person can say that I saw this person and really liked them. But you cannot say that you see someone for the first time, you never met them before, or you just met them and you know you're going to be together and you're going to be married. That is a lie. You know, get off that white horse, get off the unicorn that you may be sitting on, because this doesn't exist. The way it happens is you look at someone, you like the person, you feel attracted to the person, and then you start to find out about them. Eventually, you do get to a point that you know you're going to marry this person, but it doesn't happen in the first date. It doesn't even happen in the first month. It does take some time to get to know the person.
Yes, people are different. You can never compare yourself to me, for example, and think that because you are already 36, oh my God, I'm not married yet, but you got married at 19. Yes, I did, but we are all different, you know, and I was... You know, we spent a few days together, and everything I heard about him was like, oh yeah, so he is the way I thought he was. And, you know, it helped me be confident about it. And I didn't get married to him straight away. You know, I moved closer to where he worked so I could be with him more often and really see. But I saw there were good things, there were positive things, strong things that made me believe that he was the one. So that's what it is.
And of course, you know, just before we move to the next question, we've heard dozens of stories of people who said, I've met this person, I've fallen in love, like the first week or first month that they've met them. And then a few months later, they came back and said, actually, this person wasn't really who I thought they were. And that's to prove that you can really strongly like someone, but you don't know if they're the one until you truly, truly get to know who they are, and that takes time.
Absolutely.
Okay? Now, before I read the next question, remember you can contact us. You can send us your questions via email to questions@lovetalkshow.tv. You can do that at any time. We'll be happy to answer your questions, and we'll try to be as direct and sincere as possible. Okay? The next question says, since love conquers all, does it really matter if the person you like is of a different background, race, or has a slight age difference? Right. First of all, let's just say love conquers all. I don't know where that really came from. Who said that? Because for love to conquer all, there has to be sacrifice for the other person. You know, giving of yourself to please that other person.
That's what love is about.
That's what love is about. And when you talk about background, when you talk about age, and all these things, in a fairy tale world, background doesn't matter, race doesn't matter. But in real life, it makes a big difference. Are we saying to you that if you are of a complete different cultural background, the relationship can't work? Not necessarily, but it does make it a lot more difficult to make things work, simply because you are so different. And if you truly look into people that have gone into relationships with someone who has a huge age gap, or someone who is of a complete different spectrum in terms of culture, even if they did make things work, and most of them didn't, it's really hard, it's really difficult, because for example, Elena and I, we are from the same country, but we are from complete opposite ends of the country.
Yes.
Plus...
Which means complete different frame of mind and
a little
the
bit.
way they think and do
a little
things.
bit. But you could say that because we are from the same country, you know, it would have been easy for us. And it was already hard for us to adapt in the beginning. It's always hard. Now you imagine throwing there a huge age gap or throwing in there a huge background difference. It makes it 100 times harder.
And what I suggest you do is to ask around people who are married, who married someone, you know, from a different background, from a different everything, and then see what they say. But tell them to be really honest with you. And I think you should ask this question more to yourself than us. And let me say why. Because it's up to you to see, hold on. Because love, true love, has a lot to do with your head, how you think, and if it makes sense. Okay? So let's say that you have fallen in love with someone. Okay, you need to ask yourself questions like this. Okay, can I really deal with the barrier, you know, the language barrier? Can I really deal with the food difference? Can I really this? Can I really? If your answers are gonna be yes, by all means, go for it. But understand that it's not gonna be easy. It's like everything. You need to get used to another language, another culture, another food, or whatever. So.
And of course, you were saying, Elena, that the person has to ask themselves, and the answer has to be yes. But make sure that you're not saying yes just because you want to go ahead with the relationship. Because sometimes you're saying yes because you want to say yes. Because really, I tell you, there's one place in the world where background and race and age difference doesn't matter. And that place is Hollywood. Not Hollywood, USA, Hollywood movies, the DVDs you get somewhere when you buy a movie. There, it doesn't matter. In reality, it makes a huge difference.
Indeed.
Age difference makes a difference.
Oh, yeah.
Race and background also makes a difference. Are we saying it doesn't work, it can't work? No, it can, but you are just making things a lot more difficult for yourself. So what our advice is that if you are looking for someone, look for someone that is as compatible to you as possible. More or less the same age, more or less the same background, and then the rest becomes easier. If you are already in a relationship or starting a relationship with someone that has these differences, then think very well about it. And if you are already on a long-term relationship with these differences, then of course you're not going to jump ship. Try to make things work. But if you can, if you're about to start that relationship, then think twice so that you don't make things a lot harder for yourself. Okay? So we hope that today's program has been helpful. And just reminding you that you can subscribe to our channel. Please do subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Visit our Facebook page and also send us your questions for next programs, and the email address is questions@lovetalkshow.tv. It's been a pleasure. Until next time, have a wonderful day.